A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television and I'm Smriti Rastogi with breakfast news. And first, take a look at the top headlines of the day. Rajya Sabha passes finance bill with 5 opposition amendments to be taken up in Lok Sabha today. GST bills passed in Lok Sabha. Finance Minister terms bill revolutionary. Opposition calls it anti-taxpayer. Prime Minister says new year, new law, new Bharat. Lieutenant Governor asks Delhi Chief Secretary to recover 97 crore rupees from Aam Aadmi Party for government ads projecting Kejriwal and party. Congress BJP welcome move. Supreme Court bans sale and registration of BS4 non-compliant vehicles. Ban in effect from 1st of April. And Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu enter second round at Indian Open Series with comfortable wins in opening matches. The landmark GST bills have been passed by the Lok Sabha. During the debate on the 4 bills introduced earlier by the Finance Minister, Jaitley said a GST implementation will make goods cheaper and ensure free flow of goods and services. He also called it a revolutionary bill that will benefit every section of the society. He reassured the House that the bill won't have any inflationary impact. Calling the move a blow to India's federal structure, the opposition alleged that GST is against the taxpayer and will promote corruption and price rise.
Lok Sabha began debating the 4 GST bills on Wednesday. Calling the goods and services tax a revolutionary move, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said it will benefit all. Jaitley added that GST compensation law allows for creation of a corpus to compensate states for any loss of revenue in the first 5 years of rollout. He also said the tax rates will be kept at current levels so as not to have any inflationary impact.
और ये compensation fund उन राज्यों को मिल जाएगा जिस राज्य को कोई नुकसान होता है. 5 वर्ष तक ये सेस की व्यवस्था हम लोगों ने रखी है. एक सुझाव ये था कि इसको हम टैक्स के रूप में लाएं, लेकिन अगर टैक्स के रूप में लाते तो ये जीएसटी काउंसिल ने डिस्कस किया तो उपभोक्ता के ऊपर इसका बहुत असर पड़ता. आज तो वो लग्जरी कार पे 40% दे रहा है या सिगरेट पे 65% दे रहा है, तो उसका एक हिस्सा हम लोगों ने सेस के रूप में बांध लिया और मौजूदा कीमतें रहेंगी, इन्फ्लेशनरी इंपैक्ट नहीं होगा.
Earlier, the opposition slammed several provisions of the GST bills. Congress MP Veerappa Moily called it a blow to India's federal structure and a move against taxpayers. TMC's Kalyan Banerjee said that financial autonomy of the states should be protected. AIDMK and BJD too expressed their apprehensions.
This will never be a game changer.
Yes, thanks.
It's only a baby step.
Yes.
And the liability linkages provisions are extremely bad.
Thanks.
There is no provision with the anti-inflationary. The GSTs have been withdrawn in many other countries because of the anti-profiteering and profiteering. It's also because of the inflationary measure. I'm afraid that I'm cautioning because tomorrow same fate should not come to India.
There are many challenges for its successful implementation, sir. These are including the getting acceptance from all the stakeholders, the states concerned, the union territories, and most importantly, from the traders and small industry sectors, sir.
These reforms, there are complexities there. State and center together in a federal polity must take appropriate quantum of time which will be sustainable and successful.
Will the prices come down after implementation of this law? That is the basic thing which our people want to know. Therefore, the expectation that has been created because of GST, one nation, one tax, one product, the expectation has grown to the level of the sky. But let there be little bit of caution. It is illusory.
CPIM's Mohammad Salim said that this will lead to a greater financial chasm between rural and urban India. SP Chief Mulayam Singh Yadav reminded the government to fulfill promises made to the people. NCP Supriya Sule objected to the all-powerful GST Council.
लेकिन ये धीरे धीरे आप टैक्स रेट बढ़ाने के नाम पर और वो टैक्स कलेक्शन के नाम बारे में जो है खेती को और कृषि को ये डेफिनेशन के नाम पर आप उसको अंदर में लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, जो मेरे लिए मैं समझता हूं हमारे तरह देश के लिए ऐसे ही कृषि में समस्या है, ऐसे ही कृषि पिछड़ रहे हैं।
चाहे जितने आप एक्ट विधेयक लाइए, जब तक किसान संपन्न नहीं होगा देश संपन्न नहीं होगा, ना आपकी मात्रा।
We are giving all these powers, which are parliamentary powers, to the council. So the powers are not with the state, they are not with the center, but finest legislations which are related to the nation.
The minister may now move that.
No, I move that the bill be passed.
The question is that the bill be passed. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
The government has to ensure that it gets Parliament's approval for all 4 bills by the 12th of April to be able to meet the July 1st launch date. With Ravindra Singh, Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the passage of GST supplementary bills by the Lok Sabha. In a tweet soon after the legislations were passed, he said, and I quote, "Congratulations to all the countrymen over passage of the GST bills. New year, new law, new Bharat," unquote. The Central GST Bill 2017, the Integrated GST Bill 2017, the GST Compensation to States Bill 2017 and the Union Territory GST Bill 2017 were passed after negation of a host of amendments moved by the opposition parties. Replying to the 7-hour-long debate, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said the GST, which will usher in a uniform indirect tax regime in the country, will make commodities slightly cheaper.
Have been passed by the Lok Sabha, and New India concept he gave, and on a new year, new tax regime has been unfolded for the benefit of 125 crore people of India. One country, one tax has become a reality.
GST or the government in their own wisdom, they will decide that nothing will constitute these taxes collected under the GST will not constitute the consolidated fund. You know, this can be a disaster in the economy or the financial anarchy in the country. I think in a hurry to pass a bill or hurry to take credit on the GST.
Meanwhile, the finance bill was returned to the Lok Sabha by the upper house on Wednesday with amendments moved by the opposition members. In his reply to the debate, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley sought to assuage concerns raised by the members.
Replying to the debate on the finance bill, which saw severe criticism by opposition members regarding amendments to the Income Tax Act, the finance minister said the motive is to protect the informant.
If tomorrow a court asks us, Income Tax Department always gives it to the court. This is the reason why we search the man, if the court wants to be satisfied. It's not held back from the court. But in the tax appeal proceedings, nobody will ask for this note. This is not held back from courts. It's a protection as far as information with regard to offences is concerned.
On the issue of electoral reforms, the finance minister assured the House that the new norms will ensure more transparency in electoral funding.
This arrangement would also have some advantage coming to those parties which are not in power, because the consequences of disclosure of identity, which the donors have been worried about, would not be visiting them in this arrangement. And therefore, this entire comment which is being made that this is being devised by you to help a ruling party, the truth is to the contrary. The ruling party has to be large-hearted to really frame a scheme under which people would be, without fear of consequences, willing to give it to somebody who's not in power.
Several members raised questions on the protection of Aadhaar information, prompting the minister to say that the Act has enough provisions to ensure this is taken care of.
The larger question that is being raised, and I think you should answer, how will you protect the privacy of transactions in bank accounts? How will you protect the privacy of fax material in the income tax returns?
What is the protection? What is the protection? Does anybody making public an Aadhaar number of somebody else? Is there any law to prevent? What is the protection?
Congress MP Digvijay Singh and CPIM MP Sitaram Yechuri did not withdraw their amendments to the finance bill, and the House finally adopted the amendments after division of votes. The finance bill was then returned to the lower house with amendments. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And as drought hit Tamil Nadu, farmers continue to protest in the national capital. Members cutting across the party lines expressed concern over the farmers' distress in the upper house on Wednesday. Responding to the concerns, the government assured that coverage of crop insurance was being increased, but gave no assurance on loan waiver to farmers of the state.
As Tamil Nadu battles with the worst ever drought in the state in 140 years, with a 62% deficit rainfall, the upper house reiterated the demands of the state's drought-hit farmers on Wednesday. Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman sought to allay the concerns of the members and asserted that 1,000 crore rupees have been released for disaster management. She also stressed that senior ministers of the government met delegations from Tamil Nadu on the distress faced by the farmers in the state.
I have a complete list of how much has been released by Government of India for Tamil Nadu. There has not been a denial of what has to be given. In fact, just one point I would like to draw your attention. In 2015-16, SDRF, NDRF, the National Disaster Relief monies which have to go to Tamil Nadu, 1,000 crores have been released as against the allocation under SDR. The point that I want to give here in front of all the members is the Government of India has been seeing all the delegation, whether it is of Neduvasal or for the farmers' agitation.
Earlier raising the issue through a zero-hour mention, Tiruchi Shiva of the DMK said that 200 farmers have committed suicide. He also demanded constitution of the Kaveri Management Board for water management and dispersal of insurance claims. Other members also demanded a waiver on crop loans.
Sir, what we request is constitution of Kaveri Management Board and linking of rivers are very essential. Apart from that, waiver of loans is the foremost, and the banks are taking very stringent actions, strangling the already suffering farmers to repay the loans which they have already got. So instructions have to be given by the government to the banks that the farmers should not be squeezed to repay the loan.
They are agitating for more than 2 weeks, and they have met the president, they have met the finance minister, they have met the agriculture minister, and several MPs have met them. But their plight continues. They are asking for loan waiver. I make a concrete proposal to the government. Government can take a stand on loan waiver for the farmers.
Through you, I am appealing. You can waive the NPAs for rich corporates, but you can't waive loans for these poor farmers who are committing suicide. This is something that is not acceptable. And it's only a fraction of what you're waiving to the rich people. You waive this and save our Annadata, save Indian agriculture and Indian farmers. Otherwise, there's no future for my country, sir.
The crisis in the agriculture sector in Tamil Nadu has reached mammoth proportions. Reports claim that since October last year, at least 2 farmers commit suicide every day. Since 14th of March, a group of 80-odd farmers from Tamil Nadu have been protesting at Jantar Mantar in Delhi, demanding financial relief as they've lost their crops and savings in the ongoing drought in the state. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some more developments. The Supreme Court on Wednesday banned the sale and registration of vehicles which are non-compliant with the BS4 emission norms. The ban will come into effect from 1st of April across the country. The Apex Court said that the health of the people was far more important than the commercial interest of the automobile manufacturers. The Society of the Indian Automobile Manufacturers had earlier submitted data on manufacturing and sale of BS3 vehicles on a monthly basis from January 2016. The organization told the court that the companies were holding stock of around 8.24 lakh such vehicles. Green bodies lauded Supreme Court's decision, terming it as an acknowledgement to the public health crisis and a step in right direction towards fighting air pollution. Environment experts say the movement from BS3 to BS4 could lead to substantial reduction in particulate matter emission. And with that, time for a very short break. More national and international news on the other side. Stay with us.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. 36 people have been injured after 8 coaches of the Jabalpur Nizamuddin Mahakaushal Express derailed in the wee hours today near Mahoba station in Uttar Pradesh. Chief Public Relation Officer, North Central Railway said an accident relief train has also been rushed to the site and the injured have been given first aid. The CPRO also said that around 8 coaches from the rear side of the train derailed between Mahoba and Kolpahar station. Senior officials, including the General Manager of the North Central Railway, have rushed to the site and the rescue operations are on. The cause of derailment is yet to be ascertained. The Railway Ministry has issued helplines at Jhansi, Gwalior, Banda and Nizamuddin stations to disseminate information to relatives of the passengers.
अधिकारी चूँकि ये जगह नॉर्थ सेंट्रल रेलवे के झांसी डिवीजन में पड़ती है, तो झांसी डिवीजन के डिवीजनल रेलवे मैनेजर श्री A.K. मिश्रा और हमारी मेडिकल ट्रेन स्पॉट पे पहुंच गई है और रिलीफ और रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में लगी हुई है। नॉर्थ सेंट्रल रेलवे के हेडक्वार्टर इलाहाबाद में हमारे जनरल मैनेजर श्री चौहान साहब स्थित हैं, वो भी एक्सीडेंट साइट के लिए रवाना हो गए हैं। स्थिति अभी तो नियंत्रण में है और इस हादसे में कोई कैजुअलिटी या डेथ की खबर नहीं है।
गाड़ी संख्या 12189 एक महाकौशल एक्सप्रेस हमारी है, जबलपुर से निजामुद्दीन जाती है, जो इसकी 8 बोगियां जो हैं महोबा और कुलपहाड़ के बीच में गेट नंबर 420 के आसपास डिरेल हुई हैं, जिसमें से एक AC2 की बोगी है और 3 AC3 की हैं और स्लीपर की बोगियां हैं कुछ।
Meanwhile, in a setback to the Kejriwal dispensation, Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal has directed that 97 crore rupees be recovered from the Aam Aadmi Party, the amount that was allegedly splurged by the government on advertisements in violation of the Supreme Court guidelines. Baijal also ordered an inquiry into the spendings on advertisements projecting Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his party. He also asked the Chief Secretary to fix the responsibility in the matter. The Aam Aadmi Party will have to reimburse the money within a month. Out of 97 crore rupees incurred on advertisements, government has reportedly paid 42 crore rupees to the ad agencies. The move comes months after a centre-appointed 3-member committee indicted the Aam Aadmi Party government for misusing exchequer money on advertisements. The committee, headed by former Chief Election Commissioner B.B. Tandon, was constituted last year by the INB Ministry on directions of the Supreme Court to address issues related to content regulation in government advertising. Meanwhile, the Delhi Congress and BJP has welcomed the Lieutenant Governor's decision and said that the amount recovered from the Aam Aadmi Party can now be used for various welfare projects in Delhi.
केजरीवाल जी को इसलिए चुना था कि वो दिल्ली की जनता की सेवा करें और जो दिल्ली की जनता टैक्स देती है उससे राज्य का विकास करें, लेकिन दिल्ली की जनता का पैसा अगर आप सेल्फ प्रमोशन में लगाएंगे तो वो पैसा दिल्ली सरकार के खजाने में आपको वापस जमा करना पड़ेगा।
If AAP has done something, probably now that Lieutenant Governor has already imposed fine, the Kejriwal government will get an opportunity to explain how do they justify this. It should be in the nature of a notice.
And Malaysian Prime Minister Mohammad Najib Razak will today arrive in India on a 5-day visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India will be delighted to welcome Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak to the country, adding that his counterpart's visit will boost relations between the two countries. The Malaysian Prime Minister will start his visit from Chennai and will reach Delhi on 31st of March. Both Prime Ministers are expected to hold substantive talks on 1st of April, which are expected to cover a range of issues, particularly focusing on enhancing business ties. And it is the end of March, but cities and towns across several states in the country are already witnessing severe heat wave conditions. The Met Department on Wednesday said that the heat wave conditions prevailed over most parts of Uttar Pradesh, with Varanasi and Agra recording the highest temperature of 41.4 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature in Allahabad and Hamirpur also crossed 40 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, temperatures in Bhira, Maharashtra touched a record maximum as it reached 46.5 degrees Celsius, 7 degrees above normal. Akola in Maharashtra recorded 44.1 degrees Celsius. Barmer in Rajasthan recorded a high of 43.4 degrees Celsius, while Narnaul in Haryana recorded 42 degrees Celsius, which is 9 degrees above normal. Ludhiana in Punjab recorded 7 degrees above normal, 36.7 degrees Celsius. And it was a hot day in Delhi as Delhi recorded 6 degrees above normal at 38.2 degrees Celsius. Temperature in Dehradun as well as Srinagar was recorded much above the normal for this part of the year. Heat wave also prevailed in almost 80% of the Madhya Pradesh as the highest temperature of 42.9 degrees Celsius was recorded in Hoshangabad district. The IMD forecast said that the heat wave might continue in Hoshangabad, Gwalior, Chambal, Rewa, Shahdol, Sagar and Ujjain districts and surrounding regions in the next 24 hours. Heat wave conditions also prevailed in Gujarat and Saurashtra Kutch region. Maximum temperature of 42.9 degrees Celsius was recorded at Amreli, followed by 42 degrees Celsius at Surendranagar and Kandala. Ahmedabad city reported the maximum temperature of 41.8 degrees Celsius. And on to some international news now. There were celebrations with some pro-EU protesters at Westminster after British Prime Minister Theresa May triggered Article 50, officially kicking off Britain's exit negotiations from the European Union. Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty gives both sides 2 years to reach an agreement. That means unless there is an extension, the UK will leave on 29th March 2019. The 2-year exit process was triggered formally as a UK official handed the letter to EU Council President Donald Tusk. Prime Minister Theresa May described the moment as historic, from which there can be no turning back. Having a formally triggered Brexit, ministers are promising a smooth and stable transition, with UK government looking to pass Great Repeal Bill for the same. The details of the bill, which aims to convert EU law into domestic legislation, will be published today.
After all, most Europeans, including almost half the British voters, wish that we would stay together, not drift apart. As for me, I will not pretend that that I'm happy today. Paradoxically, there is also something positive in Brexit. Brexit has made us, the community of 27, more determined and more united than before.
In Brussels, the United Kingdom's permanent representative to the EU handed a letter to the President of the European Council on my behalf, confirming the government's decision to invoke Article 50 of the Treaty on European Union. The Article 50 process is now underway, and in accordance with the wishes of the British people, the United Kingdom is leaving the European Union. This is an historic moment from which there can be no turning back.
Turkey has called an end to its 8-month-long military operation in Syria, declaring Operation Euphrates Shield a success. Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim made the announcement at a meeting of the country's Security Council. A statement at the end of the meet said that the operation had achieved its goal of securing Turkey's border against IS terrorist attacks and letting civilians return to area that Turkish military now controls in northern Syria. However, it is not clear if Turkish troops would now leave Syria. The announcement comes a day before Rex Tillerson, US Secretary of State, meets President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It is said to be a tense encounter as there are indications that America is likely to exclude Turkey from military operations to liberate the IS stronghold of Raqqa. Turkey launched the offensive last August to push Islamic State militants away from its border and also to stop the advance of local Kurdish fighters. Ankara fears that Kurdish fighters will establish self-ruling territories similar to Iraq's autonomous Kurdish region. Turkey's relations with US has strained because of the US backing of the Kurdish militia. On to some news from sports. Star Indian shuttlers Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu reached the second round at the Indian Open with comfortable victories in their opening matches. Saina, a 2015 winner, beat Chinese Taipei's Xia Sin Lee 21-10, 21-17, while Sindhu east-passed compatriot Arundhati 21-17, 21-6. In men's singles, Samir Verma caused an upset by defeating fourth-seeded Korean Sean Wan Ho 21-17, 21-10. Sai Praneeth and Saurabh Verma also cleared the first round hurdle to advance into the next round. In women's doubles, Ashwini Ponnappa and N. Sikki Reddy defeated England's pair of Gibril Adcock and Jessica Pugh in the straight sets. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.